OP has two posts. Am I the jerk for telling my husband he works for himself, not for our family? My husband and I have known each other for 6 years and been married for almost 3 years now. We have a 1-year-old, and we're expecting another baby. Our marriage has been full of emotional highs. We love each other and let the other know regularly. My husband has a 9-to-5 job, after which he is also a tutor. He had started this back when we were in college, and it was never an issue. He always had enough time. Even in the years leading up to the marriage and the first year of our marriage, this was never a big issue. However, in the last year or so, it's become a big issue, and it's getting worse. He keeps on adding more classes to his schedule. Until last month, we had a red line that he would have no classes on Sunday. He would devote that entire time to us. But last month, he even added a class on Sunday on the excuse that exams are starting. It started to feel like me and my son weren't a priority to him anymore. Some days he comes home at 11. On other days, he's doing it online, but that's not much better because he still can't give us any time. Last Sunday, I finally spoke out and told him he was neglecting his family. He was offended and told me that he doesn't enjoy having to work so hard, but he's doing it for our family. This is where I told him that no, I think he does enjoy it. It gives him an excuse to not spend time with us, and that he was doing this for himself, not for us. As things currently stand, our collective income is more than enough. There really was no need for him to add more classes on top of his existing ones. He's doing it for himself at this point. He's literally busy, Monday to Saturday, and now he's trying to cross the red line we established for Sunday. We've been on bad terms since this fight. He keeps saying he can't believe that I said he works for himself, not for us. Am I the jerk here? Update. Thank you for the feedback in the last post. The comment said that me asking him to adhere to the boundaries we established was reasonable. Some comments also suggested that I should not have implied that he works just to get away, so I was a little apologetic as well. After he came back, I decided to talk to him about this. The conversation was a bit of a train wreck. I brought up the fact that our income far exceeds your current and projected expenses, that me and our son were missing him and needed him to spend more time with us, and I made sure to stress that I appreciated all that he did. It just seemed like we were on completely different wavelengths. He said he kept on taking more lessons and students because he wanted us to have a good standard of living, have better vacations, better schools, a second house. I was dumbfounded. I never knew he felt that way. I stressed our current standard of living was great, we make enough money, and that if he thinks that way, there's no end in sight. What if he decided we should also have a third house or something? Right now, I needed him with me. At this point, I kind of lost control and started crying. I didn't mean to. It wasn't something I wanted to do to pressure him or anything, just the fact that we were at an impasse was wrecking me. I told him I'd been feeling unhappy, that I kept compromising, and he reneged on it. After some more crying and consoling, my husband agreed that Sunday should have remained off limits. He gently asked me to give him a pass for one more Sunday because his students' exams end next week, and he would make Sunday untouchable the following semester onwards. He also promised to try to resize his classes in order to be able to come back home for dinner, even if it's late dinner. He asked for time to do all this. I've given it to him, and I know he loves us enough to do what he promised. Thanks for the feedback to the original post. Small update. Some of you had been very kind to check up on how it's been going for me, and I appreciate it. We're in a better place since my last post. Since then, we've had to revisit the issue in the form of bedtime conversations a few times, but overall it's been much better. He made changes to his class structure, increasing the class sizes, switching more to online classes, becoming more selective about one-to-one tutoring, and learned to say no to requests from parents' students when asked to go out of his way. Sundays have become sacred again. Since the past month, he's home by 7:30-ish on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. Fridays and Saturdays continue to be a bit of a contentious issue, but I'm hopeful we'll work through it. I've also had to put my foot down a few times when he's asked to break our agreement on some occasions. It doesn't feel great at the time, but I feel I have to. I've also made it clear that he's going to have to give us a lot more time when our baby girl arrives. We've hired some help, but that cannot be a substitute for him being present. Thank you all for the advice. I really appreciate it. Second update. Over a year ago, I had asked for feedback from Reddit over my husband's work schedule. Since then, things have gotten much better. Many people have been very kind to ask me if things are better. I had posted about the current state of things a month ago, but deleted it because the first few comments and PMs were pessimistic, and I had anticipated a more optimistic response. But I'm more secure in where we are now, and just decided to post the final update here. Around a year ago, I had been having issues with my husband regarding his tutoring schedule, and had come here to know if I was in the wrong. A few people had asked me to let them know if things improve or continue to deteriorate. We're in a better place now. We've been blessed with a daughter now too. He has become better at handling his workload and tutors primarily online now. I know I had said at the time that that's not much better, but it really is. Sundays have become sacrosanct again, with very rare exceptions that he asks my approval for in advance. And Wednesdays are free now too. He does more group tutoring now, and so gets done by 8:30 most days too. He also got a new day job, which is entirely work from home, which has made things much better because he isn't so burnt out anymore. In the weeks following up to my daughter's arrival, he'd been by my side, especially since she arrived during the summer when school is out. I also took some advice from here and hired help to ease the burden, which has worked out really well. I've also learned to embrace the fact that his tutoring gives him joy, which maybe his software development job doesn't. He seems to be proud when his students get into good universities, and that it results in even more students. He still claims to do it for purely financial reasons, but I know that can't be completely true because our financial needs really do not require it, so it must be something he enjoys. So I've become more understanding on that front too. I have had to put my foot down a few times, though, especially in the initial days following our conversation, to make sure he understands that I was serious about needing his presence more. I had also confided in his older sister about this issue, which he was not happy about at the time and was probably an accidental move on my end, but it helped. They had an argument. She straight up told him he was either going to end up working his way into an early grave at the age of 30 or ending up divorced, which helped. Full disclosure, the only time we ever really argue is about when I'll want him to be free, but he won't be. But it's rare, and overall, we've come up with a good balance that seems to be working for us. Thank you. Am I the jerk for telling my husband I'll go on vacation with the kids and my best friend if he's too busy with work? My husband and I have been married for over 4 years. Our son is 3, and our daughter is 16 months old. My husband has a busy schedule, due to both his day job and his business after that, and on Saturdays, and sometimes, if I'm okay with it, Sundays. We had planned to go to Spain at the end of December for a couple of weeks. Like, we've bought tickets, booked a hotel, talked about how we'll spend our 2 weeks there. Last weekend, he asked if we could postpone our trip to the end of June, like a literal 6 months after we're supposed to go. I said no, it was so unfair that he was pulling this at the last minute. He asked me to understand that his business required him to suddenly change his plans, that it was important that he'd been looking forward to this downtime as much as I had. To provide more context, this isn't the first time this has been an issue. His business hours had been an issue over the past 2 to 3 years. He'd made changes and organized his hours better, and his job had become work from home too, so we had struck a balance that I could be okay with. But his business hours again started infringing on our family time, and he'd been promoted to a managerial role at his day job, so he was now going into work on some days too. I told him I'd been looking forward to this for so long, counting days till our vacation. I told him I'll be going regardless, whether he wants to come or not, and if he doesn't want to come, we can get a refund, and my best friend can go in his place. Admittedly, I was just lashing out. I have no idea of the logistics of it. Yesterday, I asked him again what his plan was. He tried to show me messages from his clients to show how busy he was during that period. I told him I don't care. He gave me his word. According to him, I'm being unreasonable. I wanted to know if I was the jerk here. Also, I don't even know if it's logistically feasible, and I don't want it to come to it, but would I be the if I actually went on vacation and took my best friend along? Update. Hi. Thanks a lot for the feedback on my first post. I had decided to suggest he do his tutoring classes online while we were in Spain as a compromise, and that's what I was planning on doing. My husband caught a cold on Thursday, though, and had been really down and out the last couple of days. He had taken these 2 days off work from his day job. Despite my insistence that he rest, he tried to do his tutoring classes scheduled, but literally couldn't get through it and canceled those as well. I didn't want to have the conversation while he was this sick, so I postponed it. It was great. Maybe not the best choice of words as a wife talking about my husband getting sick, lol, to kind of just have him do nothing for these 2 days. He spent time with me and the kids. A few of his friends and some mutual friends of ours also came to our place to see him because they rarely see him outside of important occasions. Last night, I brought up the vacation again. He agreed without too much resistance. He said he'll move around some classes or take them in advance, but either way, he'll be with us for the vacation. I thanked him and also told him he needs to take it easy. It's clearly affecting his health. He was like, him being sick isn't because of the work, it's because of the change in weather. I did bring up that we had had an agreement earlier and that he'd kept to it for a while, and we'd really struck a good balance, but things are back to the way they were prior to that. He said he always asked me before filling up Sundays, and that is true to be fair. It's just there's only so many times I can say no. He also mentioned how 2 people he knows have recently been laid off, that times are bad economically. I told him I don't see why that has to affect him. We're doing well financially. We have more than enough savings. Our careers are good. He has a business that has been growing every year. We're secure where we are. He said he was too sick to talk about this, and that right now, our kids are young, they need less of him, that his classes are important because students and parents come to him after having heard of him, and that it's important for them to get into good universities. I told him our son is old enough that he now wants to spend time with him, and that I can compromise on my needs and wants, but not our kids. He got the point I was trying to make, and said that he'll make the necessary changes. I'm glad our vacation is back on track. I'd really been looking forward to this as a family. Also, I'm glad I told him how he'd been reneging on the balance we'd established earlier, and he'll be going back to it. He did do it last time, so I'm confident he'll do it again. We both just have to work to make sure we keep it in place. Thanks a lot.